Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by Landmark Self-Storage in Leominster. www.landmarkselfstorage.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city. And we're live tonight, as we always are on Thursday nights, unless it's some sort of a holiday, a special day. Our phone number, 978-534-1626. We have guests today. We have fun things to talk about and lots of information to bring you. A little storm coming our way. We are watching it closely at our Emergency Management Center. Our Emergency Operations Center will open this evening. We'll have people standing by in the event that people need sandbags. There are some areas, low-lying areas that are typically prone to flooding. And so we have people standing by in case there are basements that need to be flooded. And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but they're saying, a couple inches to 4 inches possibly of rain. And it has rained, so the ground's a little wet. But I'll tell you, I was digging a hole last week, and we're down 4 feet, and it was like dust. So I'm sure some of that 3 or 4 days of rain made its way into the ground. But it's still probably dry. But in the event that we need, you need assistance, 978-534-7580 is the number at the command center down at Emergency Management. And again, we'll be watching. We subscribe to a weather service. We're also part of the National Weather Service, MEMA, which is Mass Emergency Management Systems, and we'll watch that storm right through. Also on standbys, public utilities like National Grid and Verizon and others. So, as I said, we will be closely monitoring the storm. As I said, if you have any questions tonight on any subject matter, 978-534-1626, and I'll do my best in the next hour to bring you as much information as I possibly can, including the most recent, updated, breaking news here. Drum roll, please. List of events brings us from September, let's see, all the way until next February. So, yeah, lots going on, and we want to make sure we share that with you. Okay. I don't know. Where's Art today? Art on the phone?
We're not sure. He hasn't called in yet.
Art, I know were we off last week or something? Were we here last week? I don't remember.
We were down at City Hall last week.
Oh, yeah, we were at City Hall for the Flamingo. We were there for National Flamingo Day. If Art's not here, I'll just give you a couple of dates as a reminder to put on your... I'm not sure where Kids' Day went and or Ladies' Night Out, but Dining Under the Stars, 6 to 10 o'clock, September 2nd, looks like. Farmers Market, 11 to 2, downtown on the Common on the 4th. Oh, okay, so the 1st of September is Dining Under the Stars. I don't know. It says date 9/2. Oh, rain date 9/2. Farmers Market, 11 to 2, the Common on the 4th. The Food Truck Festival will be on the 10th this year in September. Citywide Yard Sale will be on the 18th. The Tractor Parade will be October 2nd. Farmers Market on the 2nd. Cannoli Fest on the 11th. Leominster Frights, participating addresses through the city. Remember we did that, where people decorate their homes and you drive around to get to see them. Halloween Parade on the 23rd. Trick or Treat on the 31st. And then we just start kicking into the Festival of Trees. Small Business Saturday. It's not far away. It's summer. Once July 4th is gone, typically people are like, yeah, I'm all done. Bathing suits, I got enough of them. I'll wait till next year. We get into that seasonal thing where we go into I was buying summer things in April, but I'm all done. And people start holding off and they'll kick in. So we tend to buy a season ahead, I think. We buy for once it gets to be a week or two before Christmas and Hanukkah, we're just looking for deals. But prior to that, so people start, and I know this from experience, people start buying a season ahead in anticipation. That's the fun and exciting part of New England is the holidays, the changing of the season. So another week or two, and people start right towards the end of August, I should say, is when people start to say, yeah, summer was great, enjoyed it, still enjoying it, but I'm starting to think about, especially if it's a hot summer, starting to think about fall. Not that they want fall to come, but the anticipation of, like Christmas for a little kid, right? Anticipation of. We're going to take a short break. I hope Mr. Ott is okay. And Mr. Ott, you're welcome to call in if you'd like to, but we're going to take a short break. Is that what that means? What?
I just need 1 second on that break, Dean.
Oh, I get it. So you want me to stall? Is that what you're saying? Mr. Cow, this looks like urgent. Is there something going on? There's people flying. Ron's here with us today, down 95 pounds. I can't lose 5, Ron. 95. Yeah, that's stick-to-itness. That's perseverance. That's commitment, and to get himself healthy. And it won't be long. He'll be down. Where are you going to jump out of that plane? Out in Orange or?
Okay, we're good.
Probably Orange. Okay. So we'll be right there with Ron when he jumps out of that plane. I'm not saying I'm going to catch him as he lands, and I'm not saying I'm going to join him, but I will be there in support when Ron decides to jump out of that plane. Take a short break. We'll be right back here at 978-534-1626. Don't go anywhere. We have guests, and I think you'll enjoy the rest of the show. There you go, the class of 1953, Leominster High School versus Fitchburg High School. Carl, did they win? You're going to leave me hanging here? Does anybody know?
I think they do win that game.
They do win that game, 1953. I wasn't around. If I was, I would have been jumping the fence because I would have. Tradition. It's even tradition to jump the fence and then pay when you get inside, but tradition to pay. The phone line's blinking. Is that telling me something?
Yep, yeah, you have Crystal on the phone.
Crystal!
Hey, buddy.
How's Crystal doing today?
Good.
It's going to rain. What are you going to do? You watching movies or what are you doing?
Just stay home.
Stay home? You watch a lot of TV?
Yeah.
Like what kind of stuff do you watch?
I like Home Alone.
You like Home Alone?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 23, 25?
No.
You like the second one better than the first one?
I like the first one. Every original movie is better than the first one.
Oh, and
Original movie is always best.
And who's your favorite character?
Kevin.
Kevin? What about Marv?
So I went back to Hannaford. Everyone was happy to see me again.
How'd it go? Oh, all your fans were looking for you.
Yeah, they were.
See, you got a lot of followers.
Scott, the general manager, wants to know when you can come in to visit us.
I come in, but it's late at night, and there's nobody around but me and a few cherries in a bag at Hannaford on Lancaster Street. There's nobody around.
Oh.
See, they were happy to see you. You were missing in action for a while. Everybody was looking for you. When I'm missing in action, nobody's looking for me.
So are you going to say anything to Jillian? She's listening.
Jillian's listening?
No, she's listening from the TV set.
Oh, she's not watching?
No.
All right, well, tell her don't bump into anything while she's listening.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Over and out.
Take care. Yep.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye.
So long. All right, so we're at 978-534-1626. And the reason I say that is, well, if you don't, then if you're like me and you watch the weather in the morning, you listen to it, 5 seconds later, like, what did they say? And you listen to the weather again. And then 10 minutes later. And then pretty soon, right, it's like a half hour, and you're like, I still don't understand. What's the weather for today? That's why they do that. They change it all up, talk about other things, and then you're not sure what the weather's going to be. But I know what our weather's going to be. It's going to rain, and it could rain hard. And if it does, we are set to go at our Emergency Operations Center at 978-534-7580. We'll be set up there. There'll be people through the night, and should anyone need a sump pump or sandbags, whatever it might be, and I'm not saying you will need them, but just in case, that is the Emergency Operations Center. Somebody will be at dispatch through the evening, and hopefully we won't need it, but just in case, you've got to be prepared. Okay, that's the phone number. We have two guests, so let me set the stage here. Last year, for the last actually year and a half, very difficult for everyone, and especially for kids and teachers and everyone else involved. And typically, our school committee meetings, there are not many. Leominster was a recipient of having one of the best school committees, so we actually got an award for having the best school committee, and a number of our others who were on the school committee were actually given awards for lifetime achievements in the Leominster School Committee. But the more and more that residents and parents were paying attention, more and more people were watching by Zoom, by using technology or Google, or there's all kinds of applications to watch meetings. And then suddenly, coming out of COVID, 4 dads with kids in the school system, and let me just paraphrase by saying to you that I have a grandson in the school system, and Melissa Bible has children in the Leominster Public School System. The rest don't. And so dads, and no coincidence at all, it's not like anybody went out and recruited anybody, and these 4 dads came together and said, it's time for some change on the school committee. We have some fresh and new ideas, and we want to make sure that as we set our priorities, kids are first. Anyway, Gregg Thomas is running at Ward 3. He's the Ward 3 candidate. And I want to make sure I say your name right. I always think I say it right, but correct me if I'm wrong. But it's Gregg Renchkovsky. Renchkovsky.
Easier than it looks.
And he's running at Ward 1. And so I think the reason I have you on tonight, and anybody that wants to be a candidate for anything, call me, come on. But I think the interesting thing is that 4 of you get together, and I don't think you really knew each other prior to all this, and 4 people from 4 sections of the city get together and one at a time and say, I'm running for office. Is that how it happened, or am I oversimplifying this?
Yeah, I mean, throughout the pandemic, we kind of grassroots group came together, and it mostly started as just being supportive of one another. Being able to tell your stories of the frustrations, the bad day your children had, the bad day you had, and we were there for one another, and we built this support network. And as the year progressed, we said let's stop just complaining about the problem, and let's take the opportunity to be involved and be part of the solution. And then we were just like, hey, what ward do you actually live in? We never asked that question.
Hey, where do you live? Like kids,
what's your trash
young
day?
kids in 7th grade, like, hey, you want to hang out after school? Yeah, where do you live? Well, I live in North
Exactly.
Leominster. Oh, I don't know where that is. Huh?
And we never stopped to even ask that question. And so we were like, oh, your trash day is your ward. We don't have a background in
Right.
politics. We're like, your trash day is your ward number? Like, okay, what's your day? And I'm
I
like,
heard that at your first kind of announcement. It was like, people confused about where do I sign, what ward, and they're like, what day's trash? Everybody knows that. I don't know my ward, myself included. I'm like, ward A? Am I my precinct A, B, or C? You know,
Yeah,
same sort of thing.
yeah, so it just grew, and we were like, oh, well, your day is Wednesday. Okay, that's a different ward than mine. So, you know, and we tried to coordinate so that we could have the same message, but be able to impact as much as possible by running together on a shared campaign in different wards. So,
Gregg?
So
Gregg 1.5, I should say. No, Gregg 1, because you're in Ward 1. so
Ward
you
1.
get the distinction of being Gregg 1.
right, I know one of the four.
One of the
fabulous
Fab Fours.
That's right. So, you know, to add what Gregg said, I wasn't in the initial 3. One of the reasons, well, I came on for the same exact reasons. I didn't know about these 3. You know, someone told me about them, and I got in touch with them, and they embraced me like I couldn't believe. They didn't know anything about me. They didn't know my name. They didn't know what ward I was in. And they embraced me like, seriously, like a family member. It's been amazing. So,
And I think, so that people don't think like 5 dads were down at the casino or at the ball
Yeah,
game.
right.
You know, when we say 5 dads, we're talking about a support system for each of them. Each of them has family and friends. And I kind of give them a little coaching prior to the event. The night before, we were at the city council. And I said, you know, Gregg, you know, plan these things. It's like 90-something degrees, hazy, hot, and humid. People have had a rough, year and a half. Sometimes they have an event. I know this, myself from experience. You can have an event and like 10 people show up.
Right.
10 of the people that love you the most will show up to anything. And when I walked in the room, and I talked to actually Wendy on the way, she's like, wow, you should see all the people coming in. And I said, well, I always like to prepare people, especially when you're new to the business, because you don't want to get disenfranchised that,
Right.
well, no, nobody showed up. And as the night grew, like a couple minutes before it started, the place was filled with people. And the same kind of people, not political people, they weren't involved in politics. But let's talk about your support system, because you have other halves and kids in the system. So I don't want anybody to think this is like some, good old boy network and they went golfing and came back and said, yeah, we're going to run for office. It's exactly contrary to that.
right. Yeah, and so I have 2 girls. One of them's 8, one of them's 5. They both go to Fallbrook. Love it there. My youngest is on the autism spectrum, and which my wife has taken over leading the CPAC in Leominster as well in the middle of all this.
Like she didn't have enough to do.
Yeah, and our support network is the greatest. I mean, they do everything for us, and that was the scariest thing about this event. Was like, oh my God, they put in hours and hours and hours of
Yeah.
work. What if people don't show up?
Right.
When people come in, it was amazing.
And they had kids and
Yeah.
grandparents. And
Yeah.
the first time, honestly, I haven't seen that in a long time. I mean, a long time. Just haven't.
Yeah, and as you said that night, the energy in the room was just, it was the right energy. Everybody was there for the children. Whether you were a parent, whether you were a grandparent, whether you were somebody from
Neighbor
the city,
or friend, yeah.
that had just heard about it and wanted to support. It was really awesome. It was amazing.
And other elected people showed up, so that meant you got some credibility. Like, hey, these people are for real. This isn't like, this is grassroots, but this is something I think they noticed. Peter Angelini was there, city council, and I think same sort of thing. Like the whole grassroots movement is something that we haven't seen here in a long time.
yeah, so it's great.
And so on your support system, talk
Yeah,
about.
I have skin in the game. I have 2 kids, Nicholas and Ayla, and Nick is going in the 1st grade. So he was at home during this whole time, and I witnessed what happened to him. It was very sad. It made me angry. But my daughter's going into Bennett School. My son's at JA. She's going to be starting pre-K this year. So, you know, and we're all motivated. You know, and you're talking about the campaign rally. That was amazing. It was moving. I have chills just talking about it.
I haven't seen it. I've been to a lot of places, in a lot of cities and towns.
It was great.
It's been a long time since I could say I've seen anything like that.
It was awesome. And there really were grandparents there because I knew two of them. Right when I walked in, friends with them, friends of our family, and I walked right over to them, and I couldn't believe they were there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. Yeah. It is great.
And let me just say, and what really sort of caught my attention is for all the right reasons. And you sort of coined this, you know, kids first.
Yes.
And that's the way it really has to be. And it's the way it used to be. And we got away from that. And got away more into the school committee becoming more of a political entity and weighing options based on, is this make somebody look bad? And what is this for us? Rather than, hey, you don't have to be a genius in this business. You get the information, and you immediately know, is this good for kids or not, right? I mean, that's the essence of it all. And that's really your campaign slogan is kids first, which means whatever comes before the school committee, it better have some direct connection to benefiting kids and their achievement, right? And no matter what it is, if it's a kid with autism or special needs, kid that's having a hard time reading, or whatever it is, it better have that dollar that comes in, better have a connection. And it better have a pretty quick connection, because if it doesn't, it's not going to pass muster. It's going to be certainly vetted. And I think the other part is, I think we can all agree, you know, this isn't. I didn't go out and recruit people to run for school committee, and because I want people to see my way at all, ever. I've never ever done that in my 28 years, and I think that sort of you're running for the right reasons. So people aren't always going to agree. You might not agree with Gregg. Gregg might not agree with Gregg, or candidate Perler, or any of the, but there's the respect part. And I always find if the mission is always the same, and I'll tell you, we've had people on the school committee that we've disagreed along the way, but it was really good and spirited debate, healthy stuff like, hey, take a look at this. And you know what? You're like, yeah, you know what? I didn't think of it that way. You know, in other words, so you see all sides, but not, the school committee in Leominster has never been a political entity, ever. So even prior to me, I always watched the school committee. My kids were in schools, same age as you, Gregg, right? I mean, I watched what was going on. Never political. Always had people who's had kids' interest first. And that, to me, in my opinion, has changed. And it's turned into a political body for the most part. Got to get away from that. And I'm so excited about, you know, the future, because I know, you know, sometimes it's not about as much money as you have, but more on how you spend it and where you spend it and how you prioritize it. We do that in our homes.
You took the words out of my mouth. You see me smiling right now, because kids first shouldn't be a novel idea.
Right.
And this is a nonpartisan position. We don't have a letter next to our name.
No.
And there shouldn't be. And I'd like to stress that. I'm independent. I don't work for any political faction. I work for nobody but for the parents and all the Leominster public school system stakeholders. That's who we work for. And that's it. Kids come first.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to make decisions. That's how Gregg's going to make decisions, and the other two dads. And that's how we're going to make decisions on the budget and everything else that goes into the school committee.
You realize when we built, it always seemed like we were building a school in the worst economy. You know, the library. The reason we got the library project, we got moved up, is we had a bad economy, and other cities or towns that were ahead of us couldn't come up with the money to match the funding from the state. So we moved up. And when we built Somerset, bad economy. When we built Skyview, bad economy. You know, we just, but we did it because we looked at it and we took the approach of, okay, we're just going to really, you know, watch extra special odd dollars. We built Skyview. We didn't have, that's a big school. That was a lot of money. And we bought property next to it. I mean, we went ahead and we had some money in the budget to pay for teachers and staff and all of that. But the school committee got together with the superintendent and said, we got to make this work. We only have X amount of dollars here. We can't go back to the trough. There isn't any more money. The city is spending the money to build a school. And so we all got together and we worked, and we were able to fill the school up with teachers and principal and custodians and a teacher from here, a teacher from there. We really worked. And at the end of the day, it wasn't a battle. It wasn't a public battle that the city didn't have the money to staff the school in the way that we wanted. Nobody did that. It was all our time was spent on making it work, as it was Samoset. Same thing with Samoset. And we had to go for a special emergency funding, some state agency, because our finances were bad. It was a bad economy at the time. But we wanted to build Samoset School. The school committee got together, and each time, we were one of the first in the state to do a full-day kindergarten. There's still systems that don't have kindergarten.
Right.
But that was a matter of this is how much we have. This is a priority. How are we going to make it work? Not, well, we know the mayor's going to put in the budget 81. Let's ask for 84 million. Next year, we have 81 million. Let's ask for 87. Always knowing what the number's going to be and asking for more, and then say, take your attention, divert your attention away from this to get on to the mayor cut the budget. That's politics, right?
Right.
I talk to my friends that are the mayors, and do you do this game every year where no matter what you give, it's, the mayor cut the budget? And they're like, no, we don't do that at all. That never happens. The superintendent, school committee, city council, everybody already knows what the numbers are. Once the governor's budget comes out, you pretty much know pretty close to what your numbers are going to be. So, yeah, you always kind of have, things in there that if you get more money, you want to be in key to say, well, if you get extra money, that's what we want to do. So that's the part that I hope we're able to bring back is this is how much money we have. We're always going to advocate for more. We'll always put in for grants. But whatever the pot of money is, we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work in the best way that we can. And it's going to be kid-centric first,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
It's so simple. People live on Social Security. A single person, somebody, the husband or wife passed away, they live on Social Security. They don't make much money. But I'll tell you what, they manage. They manage. And that's because, they have to prioritize.
Right.
And that's, so that's what excites me the most is the ability to get back on track, back to where we were. One of the best school committees recognized as one of the best school committees in the state, doing things that were unthinkable. We had such good members who were like, yeah, okay, we did full day kindergarten, let's take on this next issue. And, you're talking about some of the kindergarten centers that we have, Priest and Bennett. And I think, at some point, these buildings are built in the 1800s.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have to, we're looking at, building one center, early childhood center. And I think to myself, people love those buildings. They just
They're
love
used
them.
to
It's all, they're all little guys and gals in the buildings. And so those are some of the things that we're going to have to take on. But the biggest thing is, I think, getting kids caught up. Yeah. Some kids
Yes.
fell back.
Yes, they did.
And some kids did really well, and some kids didn't. And that part about catching kids back up to where they were and then beyond.
Yeah. And I've heard you say, focusing on the kids in the classroom. I think that's so important this year. Our focus needs to be on making sure these children get caught back up, get what they need. The teachers have the resources that they need. If one child's falling behind, getting the extra help. And I also feel very strongly that, as you said, there are people moving in different directions for different motives. But I think that getting people on the same page where the city, the school committee, superintendent are all working towards the same goals, the same vision, and I think that goes a long ways. Parents supporting teachers in the classroom, teachers supporting parents. If we can all align correctly and have that vision, I am very confident that we can get these kids back.
Oh, no question.
We have to build trust back up, and we have to be accountable to the decisions that we make, and we have to be transparent with staff, with the city, and so forth. And that's really where we're coming from.
And that's the way, out of my 28 years, 25 of it were exactly that way. Where, it was always, I always felt like this is one big team pushing and you know what? From not disagreement, but good debate comes good policy. Yes. It really does, because it makes you think. So from a kindergarten standpoint, or the 7th grade, if I could tell you how many times we changed, K through 8, and then we got K through 8, and then it was K through 5, and we had to redistrict busing routes. We built a new school, but then everybody was like, yeah, but I don't want to. My kid went to that school last year. Send some other kid. We had a lot of those things, but it was always healthy, and it always got us to think about it. And at the end of the day, do what was best for a kid. So we weren't shipping a kid, putting a kid on a bus on another section of the city and moving them up to Skyview, which made no sense when kids in another neighborhood were much closer. So those are just common sense things. And that's what, when you put people on a jury, and everyday people, they put them on a jury to decide the fate of somebody that's been charged with a crime, right? And so I would say there's not brain surgery here. Just listen to the information and you make decision based on the information that you have, but make the one that's the best decision on what you have. Yeah. And that's where we got to get back to. And I've seen it. It was one of the best things about being mayor was going to school committee meetings, because we had this engine going. We were really making a difference in kids' education. When I look back at Francis Drake when it was Southeast, I mean, you know how many people school choiced out of Southeast school because they didn't want their kids to go to Southeast school? And as school committee members, again, staff, parents, and superintendent, we worked so hard. And it took some time to get to that point where all schools were equal, where it didn't matter, where somebody wasn't moving away from a school district at Francis Drake, which was Southeast, because they didn't want their kids to go to school there, or there was school choice and them out. That doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't. And our schools are very balanced now. But that's the kind of thing that you can get done if you have a team effort, right? If you got that team moving in the same direction. So I was very thrilled to see the official night. And I also thought that it was great because everybody was like, yeah, I had a prepared speech, but I don't need that anymore, because they could feel the energy in the room. And you could take a deep breath because you're worried about, do people show up or not? And is this the right thing to do? Am I the right person? But you knew all that kind of was away, and you could just say, yeah, I'm running for school committee because I want to make sure kids are first.
Yes. Yeah, I'm an introvert, and I got up on that stage, and I turned into an extrovert.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was doing up there. I really couldn't till I watched it. I said, wow, look at you go.
Yeah.
And it came
Hey, what happened to me?
What happened? That wasn't me.
Yeah.
It came from the heart.
Right.
And we are so motivated to get these kids back on track. This past year, the school committee failed our children. Tremendous failure. I watched it at home, and I'm sure Gregg did, and Sal Perilla, and Josh Bowdwich, the other two dads. We watched it. We witnessed it. And we need to get the kids back on track, and that's what we plan on doing. We plan on having spirited debate, and we may disagree with each other, but that's okay. We all bring different skills, and we're going to work together to put kids first. It's not a novel idea.
No.
It's very common sense.
Somebody said to me the other day, kids first. Really? This isn't just, somebody that's running for office and kids first, clean water, all that, right? No, really. This is, we're really serious about this.
This time we're serious.
Actually, kids first.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
we mean
Actually
it.
is the word.
We mean it.
Yeah, and this is good stuff. And the other thing I wanted to is, on the better half side, and each one of you does something for a living. And that's the other thing that I saw is each one of you brings different personalities but different skills to the table, which is really helpful in anybody, because again, you get that, hey, did you think about this? And I know you do IT, and so, hey, did you think about that? And did you, I look forward to the day many, many years ago, I said, why do we have to wait a whole year to find out at the end of May or June that the kid's going to fail a course? And how come we didn't know as that child was failing the course so we could correct it? Why didn't we know that? And so today with technology and better assessment, we can monitor that so that and teachers have this lesson plan, and they don't want to be interrupted by a fire drill, by somebody coming in to say hello or bringing cupcakes to Johnny, or because they have a lesson plan per day. They know that, Dean Mazzarella, this first day of school, that in order to get Dean Mazzarella here, these are all the things that have to happen to get that child there. And sometimes the kid is sick, sometimes there's snow days, But the teachers are very, very focused today on that lesson plan. I've got to get this done. And I've got to get this done so that, Johnny or Dean or, Josh or any student gets here by half year. But looking from the technology side, we really should know where a student is almost any given day so that we can get a corrective action plan in place to fix that. So we don't have to wait to find out, what do you mean? I didn't know, right? And so we've gotten a lot better at that, at being able to assess the student and make corrections and get them tutoring or whatever it might be. And so I look forward to that because I think using technology and a lot of the teachers that are in the system now are a lot more savvy on technology than they ever were. So we've learned some things from for the whole COVID thing.
And there was some good stuff that came out of my daughter's second grade teacher, when we were remote, she set up an author share, and we joined by Google Meet. And I thought about, well, hey, I work in Marlborough on a daily basis, something that I would have traditionally had to drive from work to the school and back. Something I was able to join remotely for 15 minutes.
Right,
it was great.
Yeah.
Like, those are the things that we should keep going. And just to speak to kind of our backgrounds, it was really funny. It was one of those situations where, like, hey, what do you actually do for a living? I work in IT. Oh, you work in HR? You work in public safety? You work as a lawyer? That's a pretty good combination for
you couldn't have gone
school
out in the
committee,
community
right?
and found these people, right?
I mean, somebody that works in HR.
I feel like this is a movie.
Yeah, like you write policies and procedures all day in HR. You're making sure people are safe. You're working on contracts and stuff.
Exactly.
So,
All right, we got to wrap it up so we can bring on the next guy. Sure, go
I
ahead.
need to say, the school committee failed the children. The teachers did not.
Right.
That my son's teacher was amazing, and I told her almost every day through email. I was so impressed at how she did, just having this technology fall in her lap and changing her lesson
pivoting.
plans. I mean, she had a smile on her face every day. I don't know how she did it. I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Patience run out.
These kids were at home. They were interrupting.
Yeah.
They were hitting the space bar button because that's how you mute and unmute.
yourself, yeah.
They were doing it on purpose, and laughing. And,
Which I probably would have done myself.
yeah, me too. So I was
It
laughing
would have been
in the
like being an
background.
attorney, and then they call you and say, hey, see that American Airlines 747? Yeah, hop on it. You're going to drive.
Exactly.
Well, I wasn't trained to do that.
Right, exactly.
All right, we're going to take a short break. Thank you guys for coming on. We're going to have
you.
the whole crew on at some particular point. And again, if there are candidates out there who are interested in coming on the show,
Thank you,
come on
Mayor.
down. We'd love to have you. 978-534-1626 is our phone number. We're going to take a short break. Be right back. Leominster, we do the show every week, 4 to 5, and sometimes 6:30 to 7:30, but usually a repeat at that time. But the essence of time, because we're at 4:44 and 10 seconds, which means we have less than 15 minutes. I know that scouting is a big deal, and that this year's efforts were to step up on the recruitment. Well, because we had to, I guess, do scouting via Zoom, even that, right? So you're back and trying to get kids interested. And there are a lot of kids when they're young who are thinking about scouting, and they've really availed themselves, even during the summer months, to say, hey, if you're interested in scouting, then by all means, we'll have these little sessions with little groups and meetings where we can kind of explain what goes on, expose you to some of it, and then you make up your mind. In the essence of time, I'll let you all introduce yourself, and then we'll get moving on the important stuff like, okay, what's scouting all about these days?
Excellent. I'm Dan Shaw. I'm the Cub Master for Pack 16 here in Leominster. I have 2 young kids in the group, a Wolf and a Weevilo now. And so I've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years now. A lot of fun. Brought a lot of great relationships with dads and my kids. Lots of friends now as well in the group.
Hi, I'm Keith Gothier. I am the committee chairman and treasurer. This is my second year, first year, really taking on a more active role. My son Cameron is 10, and our daughter Caitlin is 8, and Cameron is a second year Weeblo, so he's an Arrow of Light, and Caitlin is moving into Bears.
And my name is Jessica Gothier. I'm the secretary for PAC 16. And this is actually my first year taking on more of
make
a
sure you
role.
don't push too much in your direction, Jessica.
Well, I was more looking for Girl Scouts, but my daughter's like, nope, I want to be a Boy Scout.
Good. That's fine. I like that. I like that you can stick with Girl Scouts if you want, but you can transition over to scouting. And
She's very excited to
nothing
be a Boy
wrong with
Scout.
that at all. I always I thought that was the best.
Yes.
And so this summer, I mean, you had an event last night or the night before. I'm all messed up this week, despite the fact that it's a short week. It doesn't seem that way, and I'm all messed up on what day it really is. But was it last night that you had an
Yes,
event?
last night.
Because I was worried it was going to start raining. But you picked up some new kids that are interested in scouting.
We did. We actually
On a hot,
enlisted
humid
7
summer
new
night.
children.
Wow, that's
So,
awesome.
Thunderstorms and everything.
Yeah.
They still
Yeah.
came out.
That might
It
be
was
why
great.
they came.
Maybe. We had a great tug-of-war rope kind of adventure
Oh, so
yesterday.
you brought
Kids
in the-
love the tug-of-war. I mean, they had a ball while we were
Simple,
talking to parents. And,
fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so these are good because they're smaller venues. Parents get to come in with the kids and talk about it and see whether or not they might be interested. It might not be there. Maybe not the age right now. Some kids need another year or so to
Correct.
join. But let's talk about some of the things. So if kids were starting their first year scouting, I assume in September when you get started, or what would happen?
No, they can jump right in.
They can.
Again, we had 7 new enlistments last night. It really depends on when their fees are paid up, and then they're actively in. We've got a pretty busy schedule this summer. A lot of activities with the Woo Sox, the Worcester Pirates, arena football. There's, the BSA is also putting out a fishing. I'm sorry, we just did the fishing. We have a shooting July 24th. We have an aquatics on August 21st.
Wow, you're busy right through the summer.
And again,
Nice.
the Woo Sox is on the 20th, so it's Friday and Saturday. We're back-to-back events. So it's quite busy.
And the principles of scouting haven't changed, being prepared and reverent,
of
and
course.
all of that is
Absolutely.
still in place, which kids, Eagle Scouts at the end of the day, or kids that were Scouts, always have that sort of part of them. They never forget that.
That's right.
When they come back to an Eagle Scout and, do the oath, and they never forget it. It's
That's right.
embedded in them, I guess, which
Good
is
discipline to have.
good things to have in life.
Yeah, and that's what we try to do. We try to teach the principles to our kids, the principles being trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, and brave, and reverent.
He remembers them.
Of course, right? We recite them every day.
Were you
we
a
talk
scout?
about them. Oh, many years, yes, all the
Oh,
way,
see?
right? But we challenge the kids to do your best, right? We do lots of competitions, car races, boat races. We make rockets and shoot them in the air, and but we always tell the kids, do your best, right? That's what it's about, right? And that's what we try to do here with Scouts. We try to give you an opportunity for the parents to spend some quality times with your kids, right? We get an hour. We meet every hour every week. We set up an activity for you guys to do with your kids, whether it's making a car, playing a game, learning about healthy eating habits, washing your hands. It could be anything that we do that week, but that's what we try to do, right?
And sometimes if you try to do something with the kids, it doesn't go off so good. it's a good time. But when you engage them with other kids, all of a sudden that same activity you did that didn't seem to get the the same thrill, all of a sudden it's a different experience for them.
Absolutely.
So it's also good for parents too.
I was going to say, it's fun to live vicariously through your children.
Yeah, I
You
could
get
see
to
that.
step back in time and you get to remember what it was like for you growing up and partaking in the activities. It's a lot of fun.
Good stuff. So I know that there's a bottle drive coming up soon, right? Is it this weekend, Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday. Why do I say Saturday, but it's Sunday? So I've been hoarding all my bottles aside, holding on to them.
Awesome.
And so this, and I like it because it's going to get kids and scouts out there, and they're going to help, and they're going to earn, that earning pot, right?
yeah.
Rather than, hey, just send me some money.
That's right.
Just send me
Right.
money. Here's my
Work for it.
Yeah. So
right.
it's a little to get to show organization and so it's Sunday, and it's going to be at the is it the Unitarian Church?
United Methodist.
United Methodist on Merriam Ave.
Yes.
8 to
And,
12.
8 to
Hall Street.
12.
8 to
Stop
12.
by anytime between 8 and 12. Drop your bottles and cans off. It's going for a great cause. It's going to do a lot for these kids, So it helps us with the help in the community too, right? We like to do food drives. Every year we do a big food drive, and we try to get the food for the food pantry for the church. We do a lot of cleanup projects. Like to do a lot of that kind of community value, but it teaches the kids. When we sell popcorn, it teaches them
Good stuff.
great popcorn, right? Which we just started too, So lots of opportunities for them to learn, and then the more they sell, the more activities we get to do with them, right? Spending the night at the Museum of Science we did a couple of years ago. That was
That's
great.
cool.
All fundraised, right?
Just like the
By
movie.
the kids. Yeah, night at the museum, right? Nothing like sleeping at the museum and having all the attractions to yourself, right? But we're consistently trying to find out more things to do. So if there's other projects out in the community that you can think of that maybe we could help, we're open to that. Please contact us, and we'll see how we can help out in other ways in the community as well. Always looking.
Jessica, so your daughter decided to go with scouting, and so how did that decision go? I mean, she was more interested in sort of the activities they were doing.
It was more along that, we meet every Monday night, and at first she's like, oh, do I have to go? I'm like, no, you don't have to go, and then Cameron's like, oh, we play games. We have kickball, or we have a road course going on, or we put up obstacle courses. Come see.
We send rockets up.
Yeah, he
We don't have to have $1
kind
billion either, but we
he
send
pulled her
rockets
into
up.
it. And,
So she's more interested in the activities. And
Yeah, they're fun. She's loves to get her hands dirty, loves to help do things, build things. This was right up her alley. I was like, how about Girl Scouts? They can do that too. She's like, nope, nope.
But she had a choice, and
Yeah, she did
that's
have
the
a
nicest
choice.
part of it all.
Most of it she wanted to be with her brother, but now that she sees what it's all about, she loves it.
I always like when they have the derbies, and they send the cars down. I thought always that was the kind of coolest part of the whole thing.
She's competitive. She did very well in her first year with her book.
Yeah, she finished the whole thing,
Yeah,
didn't
she actually finished the book cover to cover, made all the achievements. So she's in this. She's a very competitive child, so she does very
It's
well.
strange because I was thinking back when we were talking about scouting, and I actually went to school where the girls went up to school on this side at Gallagher. You went up that side. The boys went up this side. Like, I started thinking about what's the purpose of this? They ate in separate cafeterias, which might have not been a bad idea because I don't think our eating skills were too good as boys. And I don't want to generalize everybody, but the kids I sat at my table, you need a hazmat team to come in later on to clean the place up. But we actually went to the school to different sides, different playgrounds. Everything was, and then I started thinking like, well, what was that? I'm not sure what the thinking was. I'm sure there was some rationale to it, and maybe some good things about it, but it just didn't make, like today I think about it, I'm like, this is kind of strange. So it's good. It's good that it's just all one unit. You have your flexibility of being able to go where you want.
Correct.
How do people reach you? Because we only have a couple of minutes left, and I don't want to miss out on that part. So be a grandparent, a parent, or somebody watching, and they like, yeah, I'm interested. And what's the next event where they can come and kind of participate or shadow the the event?
Sure. We have a Facebook page. It's I think it's Leominster Pack 16 in Leominster on Facebook. We're constantly updating that. Our schedule and events are on there as well. We've had a great outpouring of support from the local troops, the Boy Scout troops. There's an all-girls troop here in Leominster for the Boy Scouts. I know it's kind of weird to say.
No, that makes sense.
They've done a great job helping support us. Again, we're trying that succession plan of we don't feed these younger kids up, and they don't have anybody to support going forward. So it's really important to get the children involved in this. As we talk about technology, we're talking Facebook, but the idea of scouting also is to disconnect, get away from the
Right.
TVs, the electronics, the games, get out in nature, help the community. So it's a good time. It really is.
And for PAC 16, if somebody wanted to come to one of the meetings on a Monday night,
love
they
to
could
have
attend
them.
that,
Oh, yeah.
and see how that goes and get a feel for it.
Yeah, you don't even have to sign up. Just come. We usually do them. We're going to start again on Monday nights at 6:30 at the United Methodist Church as soon as school starts again. So that following Monday after school starts, we'll be there at 6:30. We'll go from 6:30 to 7:30. Don't need to sign up. No commitment. Come on down. Take a look at what we're doing, the fun and activities, or go to myscouting.org. And we're the Central Valley, New England Valley Boy Scout Troop PAC 16, and you can sign up there and see the activity calendar and all that other stuff as well. So,
Well, thank you
love
for
to
coming
have
on. I
people.
know I got you on a short notice, but I want to keep the momentum going.
Oh, yeah.
Bottle Drive is this Sunday, and just go to Merriam, and sometimes people, I get confused about all the churches we have here, but anyway, you could go Merriam and Hall Street, back in the parking lot there. They'll be all set up to take your bottles and go to a very good cause.
Yes, love it. Love to have them.
Thank you very much for
We'll
having
take
us.
a very short break, and then coming back to sign off right here at Inside Leominster, 978-534-1626. Watching Elser come through and getting prepared as our Emergency Operations Center will be open through the evening. And their phone number is 978-534-7580. Why don't we just stay on, Carl? I don't think we really need to take a break. We're I don't know. Bradley, you want to just hang in there a couple minutes? We got 3 minutes, so we'll sit tight. Oh, the concert. Mark Marquis concert is canceled. We'll give you the numbers, the weekly numbers we'll have a little later, and we'll post those later. But as of yesterday, 22,000 people were tested in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. 61 tested positive across the Commonwealth, 13 in Worcester County. We're stuck at 5, which is a good thing. We are at 85 people across the state are in hospitals, 25 in intensive care, and there were 3 deaths. 1 is too many. The weekly data report will come on just as we're getting off the show, so we'll be able to tell you our positivity rate, which is right now at 0.67, which means that about 1,700 people were tested, and 10 people through 2 weeks were tested positive. So we'll give you that. If you have another slide, we'll do that. There's our weekly vaccination rate. You can see they didn't start until just recently, the 12 to 20 years old, but even that's high at 68%. But look at the numbers around 30 to 49 years old at 78%, 84%, 65 to 74 years old, 92% of the community. So go to the next slide, squeeze this in. Police station, the planning board approved the police station project. Onto the Conservation Commission tonight. Bids will happen this summer with groundbreaking, hopefully as soon as as Labor Day. So we're moving right along. Do you have any other slides? If you want to show some pictures, we can do that. National Night Out, August 3rd. And maybe you want to participate in this because it starts off August 3rd, on Tuesday at Walgreens, and we're going to gather. It's a celebration of our diversity in the community, whether it's religious or ethnic descent or whatever it is, that we are a very ethnic and very diverse community. We're celebrating that. That's something to be celebrated here in the community, and it kicks off at exactly 5 o'clock. We go downtown, and then we start National Night Out, which is touch a truck and public safety and music and all kinds of good stuff. Are we out of time there, Bradley? We are. Are you telling me the truth? Because it says 3 minutes left. You don't know? Okay. All right, we're out of time here at Inside Leominster. I want to thank you for watching. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. You need to show up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by Landmark Self-Storage in Leominster. www.landmarkselfstorage.com